nothing. Alright, here goes nothing, or here goes something. Alright, let's fire this up. And, you know what, though? Oh, come on, YouTube's got to start something. Receiving your content, blah blah blah, your audience will see it in a moment. And, holy fuck, what are we doing here? Okay, this is awkward. Starting. Alright. We are live now on the air. Sorry you had to see all of this, though, or hear all of this, in fact. It's just, we never expected this to happen, that Google Hangouts on Air has kind of just died on us. And that's kind of what we've been running for the better part of a year and a half. So yeah, we've been scrambling to find something to deliver an episode, and here we are.
Yeah.
So, with that said, welcome to the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining us now is none other than my co-host, Avira.
Hey guys, it's Avera.
Hey, I know you were super stressed, but
Oh my goodness, don't even remind me. Yes, I was extremely upset that our previous platform is no longer operational. And so in the past day and a half or so, Jolt and I were trying to figure out what we were going to do, but you know what? Somehow it worked out.
Yeah, and also apologies if there's any slack in the live stream
I know
for all
I mean,
that.
there's a lot of things I'm trying to do trialing by fire, but
We're still working out the bugs, but at least for now, we can still present content right now. So that's what's really important.
yeah. So if nothing else though, I'll have the audio version might just be the most ideal thing to listen to, and then you will be able to provide alternate avenues, so in a way you'll be able to catch up on what you've missed. So no need to panic though. There's always contingencies. So next up on the show is Mikhail.
So,
Good to have you on board again.
yeah, Kashid has wares and stories to sell.
Next up on the show is a guest we've had, but who has vanished from the face of the earth for 1 year. It's Felix.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You know you miss me. You know you miss all of us.
Oh, I do.
And you know
I
you
missed
miss
all
being
of you
here.
so much. I mean, I was trying to reach out to you guys, but stuff happens.
You know, life got the better of you, and, well, let's just say...
Yeah, full-time job. Can't be complaining about that.
And, and there was a moment as well in time where what was it called? You just literally weren't able to access any furry stuff.
Yes. I was just basically living in this group home. They didn't promote any of the furry stuff, and basically... Yeah, they took away all my furry thing, including my homemade furry pride shirt, and just would not let me express it in any way, shape, or form.
Wow.
That-
Well, it's definitely
that
good to
is
have you back.
terrible.
I know, it's glad to be back.
Awesome.
And last of all is a guest we're having for the first time ever. Malagos.
Hey, it's
Um,
been I'm actually glad I'm here for the first time because I've been listening to your podcast always, and I've never had the chance of actually joining because always I either I was hanging out with other friends or was either too busy. So I'm actually glad I separated time for you guys.
Aww.
Well, welcome.
Hey,
That's
no problem.
much appreciated.
Now you get the opportunity to be on though, and I wish it were we all wish it were under better circumstances, but as we say, this will have to do.
Can't believe we're back on Discord.
I know.
Oh, it's cursed.
Yeah, it's a story in a world that I didn't want to use, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and well, you know what though?
Yeah.
There's only 3 words I want to say to this. Blame it on Orange Doggo Bad.
Why? What did I didn't do anything.
You
Okay.
were only panicking through the whole thing.
Yeah, because I wanted to milk Google Hangouts for all it was worth, and then it just crapped out on us out of nowhere, and I was like, well, shit, now what do we do? Ah. Yeah, but...
You literally are the epitome of a dog. You're just a lost puppy dog when things don't go right.
It's gonna be okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all good. Whatever. It's fine.
You sure?
Maybe. Can I have a
Good.
treat?
Okay, good boy.
Oh, Malagos. So, do you want to just introduce yourself? Maybe give
Just
yourself
say a
like,
little interesting fact about yourself, though. It's a great intro.
Yeah.
Just to...
Oh well, not much of there's not much to me exactly. I'm basically a WoW player. You could tell me by my name, and some of you may know me. I'm actually an admin on a subreddit called Crackwatch, where we discuss about the DRMs and video games and reverse engineering and stuff like that. So it's a little. So I'm from a little bit of a controversial sort of side, but yeah, I was a furry raider since 2016. I think it was like 2017. I joined in, and ever since then, I've met Jolt, and we've been good friends since then. And yeah.
Cool.
All right, no problem. Hey, we're just happy to have you around, and you're finally here. So in that sense, though, yeah, we've kind of prefaced what we've been facing as of late, and hopefully, you know, we've come the next week or so. Our services will get better and better as we basically transition into a new chapter.
Yeah, we'll probably do a lot of trial runs with different live streaming services to. Yeah.
I mean, they just literally offed themselves a couple of days ago, like on August 1st, and then we just like, wow.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. There's got to be like hundreds of different cat sites. Like, we live in a world of an overpopulated population. There's got to be.
I know, but like Google Hangouts was like just so easy to use and was really functional. And now all of a sudden it's just gone. I mean, like, consider how many other YouTubers have used this platform and now they just can't anymore. Like, damn.
And it's all because of money.
I know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, then again, after Google was exposed by Project Veritas, they've been losing finances ever since.
And
yeah.
This is their solution.
But yay. So, in that said, I think it's time to start with the main story of the week, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mikhail, you're up on the. This is your moment to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Yeah, I basically was at a fur camp during the last week of July.
Yes, kind of introduce us to it though. What's it called? Where is it at? Just kind of.
It's basically Living Skies. The group is basically Living Skies, and for the Saskatchewan furs at fur camp at Pelican Point, Regina Beach area, and I could probably also do a little bit of screen sharing.
I think I've got this under control. You guys should be able to see this though in some.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
To some degree, yeah, most. But it looks quite impressive as a turnout though. And you say this week the theme of the year is the circus.
Yeah, it's ironically circus themed because the common meme in 2019 is Clown World.
Yes, that's what's up.
Oh my god, I hate clowns. I mean, I like the movie It. That's the only clown movie or something.
Oh
I
yeah,
this is
This is at the end of the con during it was known as the rope of friendship.
Oh wow, nice.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, we each ended up saying something really good about the con at the end.
Well, that's wholesome.
And then at the end, they actually have a thing called Hiss and Purr, where they do a con review for some
review?
people. It's basically just people who go to the con board or the security, and they talk about maybe think ways to make it better. Just to
Oh,
it's
So, what sort of events that were there that you went to and stuff?
just various fur panels like not balancing, but just basically having like positivity.
You mean that was like the overall theme of it?
Well, just like there were like various panels with people at the con where they talked about one of them by the name of Farm Wolves, like think positive for life, like affirmations, just
Ah.
kind of
yeah, I kind of get it. Like a positive message.
kind of
Interestingly
thing.
enough, yeah, I actually went to a very similar panel at Anthrocon called it's like a motivation app. It's interesting.
And the group that I'm a part of for my local group and being at the fur camp and all that was like with these people they're very nice people.
That's great. So, how many people were there? Like, would you estimate?
Basically on the second day when all the other attendees come for like sometimes people only arrive for like the day or that's when actually some of the kids from like because there are other people like renting out cabins there and they actually come to the place to
Oh,
hang
most
out and
definitely.
just kind of have a little bit of fun with furries.
Sounds
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and we basically like for the games that we had set up for them were like dart throwing, cups. We had like cups set up and stuff. Where's the photos from
Yeah,
that?
yeah. There's a couple of ones I'm looking at. There's a jumping through hoops. There's a couple of other things there. You gotta have things like the classics, like the ring toss.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is very different than pretty much anything that I've ever been to before. It seems like it's more like an outdoor sort of
It-
event
Yeah,
that
it
takes
is.
place over a couple days. It's not so much of a convention per se, but it's definitely a pretty big gathering.
Yeah, it's a pretty big gathering. We actually have a couple other fur camps in Canada as well.
So I have a question. This is like furry camp, right? So this like multiple day event, like 2 or 3 days or something.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days. People set up tents and they stay overnight. That kind of thing.
Wow, that's cool.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and there's a photo of hot sauces all lined up. One of the fun kind of panels that we did was one of the guys like Flurry had like hot sauces where you would roll a 20 like Dungeons and Dragon die, and whatever number you got landed on, you had to try it. And number 19 is the hottest one. It has like freaking Carolina Reapers in it.
Oh,
That stuff freaking burns, and I got that number like twice, and another person got it like 4 times.
We sell those at my work, the Carolina Reapers. I was actually surprised to see them.
Yeah, freaking hell, it's like
It's
I
like
love that
death
game.
growing out of the ground, basically. Hence the name Reaper.
you're right. Yeah, right. Sounds like a pretty fun game too. Definitely a
It's.
roll of the dice.
And Jolt, if you were to go to one of the group photos,
Yeah. I've got one of
where
the group
I'm
photos fired up, and
where I'm located, I'm the guy wearing the leopard onesie.
nice. How many suits were there all in all total? 1, 2, 6.
They were at least 10.
Ah, not too bad.
Yeah, 1 in 5 people were suitors.
Okay, that's actually That's still a reasonable ratio, all things considered. Because that's kind of where even all bigger cons like that tend to have like a ratio of.
Yeah, and Munchkin, though, he has like multiple suits, and he kind of lends them out to do like to have people at least be in the parade, or at least get an experience of kind of like wearing one and being in like really hot weather.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's more.
Stay hydrated, kids.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you absolutely have to, do take up poodling.
I would have to say no to that, but
I mean, yeah. So what? I freaking poodled at Lake Powell. Don't at me.
Oh
Well-
jeez.
I guess we're gonna have a discussion after this. But okay.
Yeah,
A
well,
long,
you know
long,
what though?
long discussion.
You know what? You know who I'd piss off if I was poodling though? The guys who run Iron Fest because they are seriously old guard furries.
Oh yeah, and at one point you'll see our leader Munchkin just burning stuff because he's introducing the next theme of the year, which is Furry Olympics, which is because, as you know, it's something that happens every 4 years. He basically says, and what happens every 4 years? Furry is the Olympics, so Furry Olympics.
Oh, that's actually pretty fitting.
Yeah.
Wow. So it basically comes with its own carrying of the torch and what kind of fashion though? It's
It
as
looked
as
like he
if
was
yeah.
cooking marshmallows.
Oh, by the way, there's some other neat stuff too. An improvised dance floor, aka slash twister thing.
Yeah, needless to say that our group can also be a little bit crazy.
I know. It all in all though, you gotta now they all gotta have the dancers, my dude. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's also there are actually a few good fursuit dancers when you come across like the videos, them doing like the dance competitions.
Nice.
I'd love to become a fursuit dancer, honestly. I think that's the coolest thing anyone could ever do.
Yeah, it could be fun. So, when it comes to like the theme of the whole circus thing, like, did they have any, like, any clowns there, or any like, I don't know, like
They were
cotton candy
handing out clown noses after you
Oh, they were?
jump after you jump through the hoop. After you jump through the hoop, the ring of fire, you either get you can get like a clown nose and a water pistol after that. That's what we were giving out to the children and everybody else who was participating.
Oh, that's awesome.
So all you have to do is jump through a ring of fire, and you're a certified clown.
it is
No
that
wonder they
easy, isn't
suck.
it?
Here's your
Wow.
clown license.
Hey.
Jump through this hoop of fire. You could become a clown in just one day. I think the only clown is you making a fool of yourself for even doing it.
I mean, come on, like, we dress up as animals for fun. I really don't think we take ourselves too seriously.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
you're right, we don't.
It's the perfect spectacle for an event like this.
It totally is.
Yeah, Munchkin is like the guy also wearing like the red coat that you see like the red
he's
circus
the
coat.
stereotypical ringmaster, eh?
Yeah, he is.
And also, what's this whole game like where they were putting up lots and lots of strings as if you were literally dodging lasers and stuff?
What?
There was a video as well. They were putting up a big line of string. Everybody was.
Oh, big line of string. That's the friendship,
Oh, that's wholesome.
the rope of friendship kind of thing that we do at the end.
Ah, that's pretty wholesome.
Yeah.
So cute.
But all in all, though, just how is your kind of overall experience as well? Like, cause I can imagine the fursuiters would be panicking to camp in tents.
Well, it's because that there was a cabin there, like Munchkin's cabin, where people had he had like a headless lounge set up. I mean, everything is pretty much done almost on his property, essentially.
Oh, that's what this is.
Yeah, I mean, this is like It's because since our group in Saskatchewan is relatively small and spread out, it's kind of hard to get like a big group going. But we're getting there. I mean, maybe one day we'll probably have a convention center set up.
No, I was thinking that this actually took place at like some kind of a public park or something.
No, it was just at like some kind of like place where people either rent or own cabins, and right by this lakeside.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But yeah, it's a very nice scenic place, isn't it though? But all in all though, just to kind of move on to this next thing, how would you gladly, recommend furries to get up there, go camping, and just
Oh yeah. Just make sure that when you're camping, be in a kind of like a relatively open area, so you don't get mistakenly shot or whatever. I don't know. Just don't camp out in the woods in fursuit or out in the prairies. Just don't do it. Like, just have it be like at a cabin site or a campsite.
yeah, I know.
Because
One last thing, were
No.
they playing the fascist cartoon known as Paw Patrol, like on the lights? Like not playing, but rather.
That's just hard to.
oh yeah. Actually, when we were there, Munchkin had like these so like in the headless lounge, like on the TV, like sometimes we had also early morning cartoons. And they also Munchkin had some of the early cartoons, like the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. And let me tell you, like some of those old cartoons can be pretty racist. And there was also like the war propaganda, and like the Nazis and all that.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Hey,
normal.
maybe Scorch could probably get hooked on it. Hey.
If it doesn't fall off the end of the earth.
oh,
No, it's
snap.
gotta have dragons. It's gotta have dragons.
That's right.
But yeah. Other than that, though, so wouldn't you say Canada's really shaping up to be the new, epicenter of furry summer events? I mean, there's the camp you went to, and now there's a few cons shaping up there.
Well, I mean, possibly, and also because Canada, well, even during the summertime, we only get up to about the hottest it can ever get at one point is maybe 40 degrees Celsius, but that's only one day, and then it drops down to back down to 25 degrees Celsius the next day. Or
Yeah.
Would you mind translating that for our American? audience?
It can be the highest at once ever is 106.
from 101 Fahrenheit
Yeah.
down to 77 Fahrenheit the next day.
Yeah.
Ah, good. Okay,
Oh, good.
that makes more sense.
Usually down here in BC and Canada here, it's usually always around 26 to maybe around 30 degrees.
So it's pretty reasonable then. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's nice. It's nice weather to do to do fursuiting in. Not too hot. I mean, it's warm, but just make sure you keep yourself hydrated. But during the weekend, though, it was relatively hot. It was about 89 degrees Fahrenheit, about 31 degrees Celsius.
So I guess one question I have is the first time that you've gone to this event, or have you done it in the past?
This is my second year.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, well, basically because since I just joined the group right around the time that I basically went to this fur camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm so
Hey,
glad-
Joel.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we've had two Canadians on the podcast at once?
Yes.
I feel so special.
I know.
Now, can you rake the leaves off my country, please? Because I really want them to go away.
Much obliged.
Oh.
Oh, I'll even send you those stickers if you really pay me a pretty penny. And I'm kidding. But hey,
Yeah,
that's on the
I
pipeline.
have-
That's on the pipeline. You know it.
I have one of those stickers as well. An actual physical sticker. I have an actual physical
I
sticker
know.
of
I
the
want
rake.
to get a whole bunch of them just so I can sticker bomb everywhere around British Columbia. I'm just
Hey,
gonna go to
hey,
light
don't do
posts
anything illegal,
everywhere.
you hear?
That's not illegal to cleanse Canada of all the leaves.
Well, people, we have to rake the leaves after all.
Yeah, you have your
it's
civic
still
duty.
it's,
Gentlemen, you have
Especially
your civic
after
duty.
the fall.
Get to it. You have your civic duty.
That would be great.
But hey,
Although Trudeau's lawn's covered in leaves, he won't even bother to rake them. They cover his entire house.
No, God, come on now. Let's not go there.
gentlemen, I mean that's a wrap though. So guys, if you're ever in the neck of in that side of Canada, like right around right down central Canada, why not go have a blast at what is called Living Skies Fur Camp? Yeah, I mean Mikhail he highly recommends it though. So you know what?
Yeah, I recommend it. It's a fun.
Yeah, people need need a venture outside of the tried and true fur con. So
Yeah, and there have been and there's been major improvements, especially from last year.
Great.
wonderful. So
Hey, did they have any maple syrup there?
I mean, there had to be at least something that's maple flavored. I don't know, maybe the bacon.
Of course. But yeah, I
Anyway,
think that'll kind of wrap that up for this story. So the next item that we're going to share with you is something a little crazy that the Japanese, God bless them, have done.
it's
Japan
torture.
approved experiments that would allow for human-animal hybrids to be born for the first time ever.
Well, my
Oh.
thoughts on this, first of all, is they're going to be putting cells into an animal, and these cells can develop into anything. So that means it can develop the brain. So what happens if these animals that they're experimenting on, what if maybe the little rodents might be successful, but what if they go mainstream, and start doing it on bigger animals? Then what happens if they get a consciousness, right? Then they're going to realize that we created them for our success. So we're going to kill an entire homemade species, essentially, that knows consciousness and knows that it's going to die for our survival. That's going to start anything to rebel against us. And
Okay, that
as crazy as it says the Planet of the Apes shit, but this is really what we could be facing if this happens.
I did not think about that. I'm
I-
glad you brought that up because the whole point of what they're trying to do in Japan is that they want to be able to have animals like pigs, cows, or even horses to be injected with a particular type of human DNA, which can grow human organs, which can be compatible with organ donations. So like they want to be able to have that kind of a resource because right now like if someone needs like a kidney transplant for instance they can't just take it from a pig because it's not human.
No.
So they're trying to grow human organs in animals and then use them as essentially organ donors. Like that's really where they're starting to develop the research. But when you mention the brain thing, what if they gave a cow a human brain? Like,
Yeah.
is that even possible to do?
Mm.
Well, right now it's not, but if you start mixing, like, there is a reason nature made it so we can't breed with animals and animals can't breed with us. It's so this intercrossing doesn't happen, the balance doesn't get disturbed. Japan, right now, they're going to start playing God. They're going to mess up the entire genus pool of anything that they're going to come in contact with, and it's just going to cause chaos if it turns the wrong way.
Well, that's a really disturbing
Yeah,
idea.
I mean,
like,
let's
like,
not go
can you
things-
imagine
You know what
a
I
cow
say about that? I
essentially-
say fuck it.
This is why I said I openly tweeted out I welcome our new Neko and Kemono overlords.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, so I'm talking this out of a perspective from a bioengineer, but I might actually be the only one or Mikhail is probably gonna agree with me, but I think I would actually approve this kind of experiment for science.
Well,
For
I'm not
science
saying I'm
purposes.
I
But-
wouldn't approve it in any way because I am very protective over animals. Like, I'm not as protective as PETA. Like, I say, you can have a pet, whatever, you're taking care of the animal. But I say, do not fuck with that animal species. Do not change anything that it is.
Well,
Because there's a reason there's no anthropomorphic animals in real life.
that's not really what they're assigned. I guess like their mission statement really is at this point. They're saying that they want to be able to use this kind of gene splicing technology to be able to grow organs in other animals that we can use to help humans. But if it goes too far, You know, like the
I
lines
mean,
have to be drawn somewhere.
I say we shouldn't even start with it, because once we start with it, even if it is successful, then that's just one step closer to people saying, "Oh, well, I want to be close to an animal. Well, jack me up with animal freaking genes."
Well, no. But like, what if you needed a kidney and you were dying without it, and there was some research out there that said, all right, well, we can grow a kidney for you in such and such amount of time, but it's going to come from like a cow, even though it's a human, DNA.
Well,
That's different.
there is always that, yes, and that's where the yin and yang effect comes in. Like, it could be a positive, but it could also have its negatives.
But what if that
well,
same cow had a human brain, though?
Yeah, what if it knew? Like, maybe they wouldn't have the vocal cords to speak, but
This melon
let's
costs
say it knew everything that's
$200,
going on around it, and it
but that's
more
nothing
aware.
compared to the
Like,
price that some
can
can
you
reach.
just imagine an
in
animal with the amount of intelligence that a human has, and knowing that we're going to kill it because we're just using it to survive?
This melon costs
Yeah,
Like,
I can totally imagine that. And I
what if you
imagine
did
it's
that
going to
to
be
an
horrific.
entire
but that's nothing
human
compared to the price
civilization?
that
You
some
know what
can
that's
reach.
going to cause? That's going to cause
And in
war.
May 2019,
What,
two
like
melons
war?
from
Like
Although
Hokkaido
it'd
we're
be
gonna
sold at
have
funny
like
to
a
auction
have
for
war
5.
Zootopia
against a
situation?
cow. Yeah, we'd have a Zootopia situation here, though.
Or have a situation like Animal Farm. Who knows?
Oh my
But-
God, no!
But then, what's to say that the experiments don't go too far, and then they think, oh well, maybe it's safe just to have them roam in the wild. Next thing you know, they breed, and now we have leopards that can think like us and literally aren't scared of anything. Something that's smart enough to know a car's not going to hurt it if it doesn't walk in front of it, so it'll wait and then go and jump somebody. It's like,
I'm not really sure that's how nature
um,
works.
that's
uh,
why gene mixing is not in nature.
Felix, let me actually correct you on that, because you think that with this kinds of experiment that somehow the animals will be able uh, to gain emotions, consciousness, and everything that we humans have that separates us from the animals. But here's the
Yes.
thing: even us humans, we don't know everything about the brain. We don't know everything about how it works, how it, like, we do know some basic things, but it's not humans cannot replicate their own brain into robot. That's why the robots right now, you don't see them being as smart as humans. This is the same way with the animals.
Yeah.
Humans can't transfer their own intelligence and their own consciousness into an animal, which is, I think it's beyond what the human capabilities can do. What what
But it
Avira said
doesn't.
what
It
Avira
doesn't.
said is what's actually more truthful here is that they're trying to somehow make the animal organs more compatible with our organs in a way that it would help in modern medicine and stuff. Because interesting fact, pigs actually have the closest organs to
Yeah.
humans.
That's why we can implement a heart from a pig into a human.
See, there you go. And with this kind of experiment, you could actually fit more than a heart. You could probably make some kind of a liver transplant or a kidney transplant or I don't know, maybe a lung transplant, whatever. It's
I'm
there
not saying it's
we
a bad idea. I'm just saying it's a little bit too dangerous to go ahead with it right now in the early stages of knowledge that we have.
I
Well,
mean,
it's
I mean, I can
I,
understand your fear, because this is
hmm.
the same kind of fear that whenever they make like some kind of advanced AI robot, they will go on saying, "Oh, but it's gonna turn into Skynet, and and robots are gonna kill us all once they regain consciousness." But I think, like, even so, humans are not as capable as you think to create like a second version of a human, or in this case I was saying like an anthropomorphic animal that has the same traits as a human does. So let's say like leopards that know how that have emotions that are similar to humans and that have a consciousness and stuff. But that's not going to happen, not, I think, not in our lifetime,
No, it's
You
because
know,
not going to happen, and I think the reason why primarily is because the human brain does have a particular type of biology, especially like when it comes to size. So you cannot fit the entirety of a human brain inside the skull of, let's say, a cat or a pig or a chicken. It's just not going to happen. But there are
No, but
certain other organs that can.
let's say they start experimenting with animals that are smart, like animals that are like a dolphin or an elephant.
Or
Like,
monkey.
Okay.
what if they do? Yeah, what if they do that? Like, those little species that don't have the brain capacity, they die before the brain even got strong enough because it'd have to grow. These other animals have the brains big enough. Now, if you mix our genes into it, like the cells, yes, they'll make brain growth happen. And especially if it's human intelligence can then start to develop within the animal. It won't be like exactly 100% human, like to walking, talking, and speaking, but they'll have a higher form of intelligence than their predecessors did.
Potentially, yeah. I suppose, like in the next few decades, if this research really does go farther forward than we can possibly imagine. But currently, they're really just trying to focus on the whole like organ transplant issue.
Yeah.
And it would be beneficial, honestly. Like, could you imagine like if we had certain, I guess like farms, and we bred certain animals that could be organ donors instead of having to rely on people dying to do such a thing? That could definitely benefit society.
Yes, and that would be good.
It would be good, but at the same time, though, if
But then who's
research
not to
kinda
say
goes
that?
a little bit further, then they put human brain cells in, like, I don't
Yeah.
know, horses or something. I mean, that'd be a little crazy.
But you know how there's a big jump in evolution, the big skipping stone that we have in evolution in the human species, where we just one day evolved into what we are. Who's not to say that there wasn't a higher form of power on this planet before that did that to us? Now, I'm not going to get into that, but anyway.
Well,
Well, I can understand your fear and stuff, and like I said, this is the same exact fear, and the scenario that you described, the one where you put human brain DNA into a monkey or a dolphin, is reminds me of that opening scene from the new Planet of the Apes movie,
Yeah.
where the monkeys start to suddenly become more and more smarter, and
Yes.
suddenly start to kind of rebel against the scientists.
Yes.
I mean, it's an interesting concept, but again, we're so far from that happening. Our technology
We're
is
far from
not.
it now, but who's to say in the future we might not be
In the
close?
future, that might be, but as of now, if you look at it at the
We're
present,
not close in the technology with
no,
it.
no, not at all.
what's interesting about this whole thing is this used to be a very controversial ethical debate. However, recently, the Japanese government has actually officially approved funding for this type of research. So it's on the way.
Yeah, and now look, you've got
Yes.
everybody saying the potential is limitless now, and everybody on the internet kind of now wants, their catgirl waifus.
Oh my god. Fucking
My
Furry's
100
trash.
Well, that's just
100% my
ignorance.
belief system is let nature do its thing, don't play God, and just live life as it's supposed to be.
I think it's too late for that.
Too late. And I kind of, I don't know why, but I seem to almost revel in that madness.
Hey, I mean, look, furries have
Although it
actually
would be cool to have a walking, talking animal.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not to mention, furries have also kind of dreamt up ways to try and become their personas. Like, the next level after fursuits.
Yeah, but that's like a whole like.
Yeah, but what
fantasy
happens if
type
it
of thing.
fails on them, right? There's no reversing it.
Mm.
We always think of how to progress something, but we never think of how to really reverse it, now do we?
No, it's more like they just make these bad choices and they have to live with it. For better or
Yes.
for worse.
Yes.
So it's kind of like being a trans furry.
Look,
like,
it's a gamble.
Once you go,
A trans
once
species.
you become, such and such, there's really no going back. You.
Yeah,
It's a
so
ga-
let's say
yeah.
they do
You
that.
did what you wanted to
What
do.
if it's what if it could essentially ruin somebody's life if it doesn't turn out the way they wanted?
Yeah, I don't care. Turn me into a cash 8.
That kind of reminds me of some real-world examples of what humans are doing to themselves nowadays.
Yes, like what about that guy that got all like those piercings and stuff and the tattoos, and he was in like
Yeah,
the
I-
Ripley's
I
Believe It or
remember
Not book,
one.
the cat guy. He
Oh, yeah,
he
the
never
cat
got in a
guy.
relationship after that. He never had a relationship after that. He actually ended up hanging himself.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
million
he did.
side effects that you
Yikes.
gotta deal with if you actually go through with something as wild as this.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we should just have a little bit more time to think this over before we really do the decision.
I know. It's all in the memes, my dude. That's all it is now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you ever
guess.
you know about that one game called Changed on I think it was like Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. The process of you being turned into like a bit of a furry creature at the end was a very slow process.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
probably
Don't know
unconscious
about
for
that
at least
game.
6 weeks or maybe even a couple of months.
And who's to say you might not even wake up from that unconsciousness?
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we're getting a little bit off topic here. When it comes to the whole Japanese research thing, they're not trying to,
Make
alter
furries?
current life forms. What they're doing is they want to try to create something that could grow, which has compatible organs and things of that nature.
Yes.
Like they're not actually trying to implant human organs into something and create some kind of a monster.
Yeah.
It starts at the cellular and DNA level, and
At
they
the
want to see
same
what
token, it's
happens.
just there's a million
I mean, yeah,
complications
this
that
is
can
all
go
just
wrong.
This is all just testing, and it might succeed
Yeah,
or it might
not.
fail. Who knows?
Right now,
Might, might not.
Right now, it's just a 50-50% chance whether my theory will come to truth or whether it will actually be successful. So,
Who
Well,
knows what
Dude,
can
I
happen?
just
My,
I
think
mean, we'll
that
keep.
your theory will not come in our lifetime, so you shouldn't really
it won't come in
worry.
my lifetime, but I worry about the future, so.
Well,
my biggest hope is that they are one day able to create a dragon. That would be cool.
Oh,
your boy Scorch will be all over
No.
that, man.
Oh, dude, it's got
Yep.
yes, like a legit dragon. Shit flies and breathes fire. That would just be the
I like the
coolest
dragon
thing.
robot.
That would
but-
become almost a weapon of war.
Yeah, it would.
No.
Yeah.
One can dream, huh? One
Uh,
can dream. But we'll keep an eye on this because the Japanese are doing something crazy that may want to do.
as they always do.
Yeah. Oh,
The
Yeah.
Japanese were always weird.
yeah. But speaking of what the Japanese are gonna do, this should be a good time to move to the next item of the day,
Yes.
which would be Nintendo themed areas coming to Universal theme parks.
I find this great.
Yeah, sounds fun.
I know. It might
'Cause as-
yeah.
As they said, right now, children are actually being proven that they know Mario before Mickey Mouse.
Right. So this is kind of like a stab at Disney a little bit. Basically, what's going on here is Universal Studios is going to be creating a Nintendo Land or Nintendo World or whatever they want to call it. Basically, they're using all the IPs from the Nintendo system, like Mario, Pokemon, all this kind of stuff, Zelda, and they're creating an extension of their theme park to kind of combat what Disney is currently doing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the premise here.
Sounds
I mean, I
very
really
fun.
like the idea because I really don't like Disney right now because of how much stuff they've done. Like, they were so close to actually even getting the Harry Potter franchise, but they wanted to change up the story. And J.K. Rowling, she said, "No, it's my book. It's how it's going to go my way," and so they lost it. Which I'm happy they did because they would have completely turned Harry Potter woke.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean, J.K. Rowling kind of already
Like
did
Harry
that a
Potter
little
would probably
bit.
become like a gay femboy, soy boy,
I'd,
freaking transgender, like something.
Dude, have you?
Isn't that what J.K. Rowling has been kind of talking about lately?
She kind of already did a little bit of that, but not as extreme as what Disney would probably have done.
Disney would force it down our throats, while J.K. Rowling's would just kind of implement it in a more natural way.
I mean, J.K. Rowling made Dumbledore gay. How the hell do you do that? I mean, come on now. Really? Why? It's just retarded. Whatever. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, what happened to all the freaking
Nintendo
Dumbledore
Land.
McGonagall people?
Yeah.
Compare like Nintendo Land to something like the whole Star Wars Galaxy exhibit that has very, very low
Oof.
attendance at Disneyland right now.
Yeah, the Star
Pretty
Wars.
bad.
Oof.
It's pretty bad. Like all the money they've invested in creating this new extension, nobody's going to.
Well, it just shows you how shit Disney is at making movies nowadays.
Well, movies and even like attractions to like promote the movies too, because no one really cares anymore. Like nobody
yeah,
wants to see that.
yeah, I'd find it cool to go to a place to fly a Millennium Falcon simulator, but with what's gone on with Star Wars, it kind of turned me off of Star Wars. The original 6 are my favorite, and after that, it just went downhill.
Even
I
the
mean, have
prequels are
you?
better
I
than
mean,
what Disney's produced.
Yeah.
Yep.
you heard about the toy company, the toys in Star Wars franchise, dropping on low. Like nobody's buying the Ray figurines.
Mhm.
Like kids are basically not attracted to the new Star Wars anymore.
Yeah, it's not relatable. It's just not good writing. It's not a good story.
It's not only that. It's just that they don't like when Luke Skywalker action figures came out. Like kids would relate to. I remember like when I was young and I watched Star Wars the first time, I could relate to Luke Skywalker. In fact, he was one of my favorite, childhood heroes. Like you could like he was relatable. Like kids would relate to him. Kids would buy action figures of him, and that